Hello everyone and welcome to another match of Roulette Rivals 9. This is the penultimate match of the console bracket, a losers bracket round 6 clash between 6-time Roulette Rivals winner Ducker and the defending champion Phanium. With this being their 5th match already in the tournament, this is considered one of the greatest rivalries in the RR history. Ducker has won their first 3 encounters, but Phanium eliminated the Serbian from last tournament on his way to the title. But who will stay alive today after this losers bracket match and face Joker J for a spot in the grand final? Everything is set for this to be a classic, including Chris X3, our match admin, just had to double check, and my co-caster here, ThatObserver. Hello and welcome, how are you doing?
I'm doing good in for fun, and yeah, like you said, it's kind of Clash of the Titans today. 2 very big names, and it's going to be one hell of a match.
Yeah, it's as we've seen from the stats, which will be scuffed for at least half side, since Phanium has a new account as of the start of this tourney, so it will be a bit hard to judge them, but this is as even as you can think.
Yeah, very equally battled, both of these players, and although the stats aren't there for Phanium, they are pretty good from what I can remember, and definitely something for Docker to be looking at as well.
Yep, as the maps come, we will try to bring you the accurate map standings. As Rocket J is right in the chat, Phanium starts with a 1-0-0 from Paris, which is Ducker's pick. Obviously not the 100% win rate was the reason that he might have chosen this map, but the fact that he has only played it once in Roulette Rivals history, other two being 3 maps where this would be possible, other two are Ambrose and Bangkok, so obviously Ducker on the other side with 16 Paris is played.
Yeah, what a number, huh? That's one of the biggest numbers. I think 20 would be like our limit for a lot of players on how many times they've played a map, so that's a crazy experience from Ducker.
Yeah, not many have played 20 matches in RR, but here he is with 21st Paris now. Here is the spin observer if you want to run down.
Of course, so we have Viktor Novikov fall as the Sheik and Dalia Margolis Silenced Pistol as the tech crew. So, pretty nice spin.
It may not be the day of spicy spins, but we will start with a close one, or at least a fairly optimized one, a quick one. Phanium already loading in. New gen advantage that he will be the leader by 10 or so in game time seconds, and starting with the Victor isolation.
And yeah, and I think the chat, I'd agree with the chat right now, as the kids would say, this is definitely a recce spin.
Recce
I'm
spin.
curious if our players can do it quickly. I don't know if the recce's on their mind because, like we said, they're 2 really good players. They just want to get out in time.
Yeah, the only thing that will set him back, or set them back, is the fairly long drag towards the Victor kill, and I didn't see anything done with Dahlia, so that could take a couple extra seconds there, about 45 seconds in game time. Phanium has the disguise and will start the drag. Will he start the drag towards Dahlia? He is going for the unsafe fall opportunity over the catwalk.
Yeah, a bit risky here from Phanium, but they do a panic and you could be okay as long as those guns go away. You should be good, and they do go away.
That's big for this spin. Ducker 55 seconds in game time, so just 10 behind, but it is now his chance to decide which fall he will take, and he is going the OG route. That will be the balcony of the Sheik, which will cost him some time, but of course the certain green guns are there.
Yeah, and here's that drag you're on about. Ducker, if you go for this, or not even Ducker, in for fun. This one's a lot safer, but when it comes to time, Phanium has a massive lead now. He's already on the way up to Dahlia, while Ducker's still dragging. It just gets the kill. So big lead.
Yeah, 2 routes possible for Phanium, and Ducker would be considering the other one, I would say so, because there is a chance for a pistol snipe. Ducker is a fan of that, but Phanium will just get her on the balcony if she's still there, but I think the detonator was turned on late enough so that she's still here. 2 KOs and the kill should settle this spin, but there's no items to KO him with. The sedative syringe comes in clutch.
Yeah, very nice from Phanium. I wonder if that was the plan from the beginning or if he brought that for Sheik or something, but very safe from Phanium with that sedative syringe. Very nice.
the one thing that Tucker can do to tie this spin up, which might be something that he will do. Turning around this guard is a good start.
Oh.
Phanium will finish with a 230, but Tucker still has 15 or so seconds. You can imagine that if the runs are similar, then loading times will equal this up. There's the pistol.
And will he pull it off? Be nice to see. We're going to have a photo finish, I think, if he hits this, but whether it's a winnable one is a different question. And there we go. It's very messy, and that body shot pretty much guarantees it's probably not going to work.
And she runs away, and Paris runs away from Tucker's side, from Tucker's peak to Phanium's side, and takes the first 2 points of this match.
Yeah, well, fast one. First map of the trilogy, first map of the matchable players, and really quick. I'd say that was probably like 5 minutes. Not even.
Yeah, they say it's a 3:10. I already don't see the in-game times here. If the real time was under 3 minutes and 29 seconds, which was set by Yanini in RR7, then we have our fastest ever Paris. But I wasn't really paying attention to that, so I guess we'll have to confirm that after the match.
Yeah, exactly. We've had a lot of records this Roulette Rivals, and I wouldn't be surprised if Paris was the one that got broke, because there's some nasty easy spins on that map, and you just gotta perform on the day.
Speaking of nasty easy, what a great word, or to say that it's basically what Phanium did there. The only obstacle in this spin was trying to make the fall work quickly, and the distraction shots worked perfectly. I would say that people downstairs can be tricky, but it depends on the spot, and it was just a nice first try for Phanium and already takes the lead, so who are we to complain there? Very nicely done.
And yeah, as well, I quickly checked, it does seem that the previous record was a 329 by Yanini, and if chat is right, which they always are, right? It's a 310 does look like the consensus for a lot of people, and even if that's off by 29 seconds, or 19 seconds, sorry, then that is a new record for Paris, so might be a safe bet. We'll have to see, though.
Should this be correct, and let's just say it is, because it would require us to be wrong by a lot, then this would be the 7th record of this tournament, and the second by Phanium, as he holds the Berlin record from Loser Bracket Round 1.
Oh, and our admin saying 2:59 was the time that actually elapsed when the finished came up. So it's actually sub 3, perhaps.
The first ever sub 3 Paris.
Yeah, that's beautifully perfect. Sub 3. I'd love to see that.
Welcome in, Osh. That's how quick it was. It might have been just the first sentence you heard, or the first just message you read. But there is the sub 3 finish, and do we have any updates there? I can just, when in doubt, just refresh the scene to maybe get a countdown, but no countdowns here. 08 past the hour, which is less than 2 minutes from now, is when the second spin should come.
And yeah, while that's counting down, I was checking the record for Santa Fortuna. It looks like we're going to get it pretty soon anyway. It's just under 9 minutes, so if they want to keep the streak going, 8:51 is the time to beat, if that's what they're aiming for.
The longest record currently, the last one to get under 10 minutes by Randy from last tournament. And as Phanium showcases, and as Ducker will no doubt, because he's an advocate for this as well, the fairly new Red Fox strat, how it's called, the bridge isolation for Rico, can make a lot of his kills much, much easier by several minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Well said, and for fun. Pretty much the only kill, to my knowledge, you can't do with it is falling object. So it is a bit limited. You can do live kills, takes a bit more steps. You can do some shenanigans to keep him busy when he comes back. I can see some knocked out bodies, and he can run away, but he'll come back a couple minutes later. So just a lot of potential for the strategy, and I'm curious to see how it evolves, because it's definitely getting its spotlight, and I love to see it, and it's really evolving from players.
Yeah, especially the live kills are just amazing to see. I didn't see it in a match before, but when it was showcased by, I would say Moo did the showcase on YouTube from Red Fox's strat, but it doesn't matter. When when the live kills happen, you can delay him so much. They see the bodies. Rico sees the bodies coming back from the stick animation, and he reports it to a guard who just doesn't care, who's too far away to spot those bodies. So
Exactly, it's crazy. And our next spin's coming in for fun. Of course, you can take this one.
thanks so much for that. Rico Delgado, explosive weapon, mention stuff. Jorge Franco, kitchen knife as submarine engineer, and Andrea Martinez scissors as the chef. I would say that this also is a quick one.
Very, very quick. Like, yeah, like we just said, Red Fox, if you start, you could even do mansion staff if you wanted, because of course you can get him in the garage. That probably would be a preference here. But it doesn't matter too much, actually, depending on the strat. I'm just sure our players are more comfortable with that mansion garage ISO. But yeah, those items are pretty nice. On the way, Phanium's going for Red Fox, it seems, and I didn't quite catch it, but maybe Ducker is as well.
We'll have to check Duckers as well. It really is the two viable options. Ducker will go mention stuff. I think the one question in this spin is, if you don't do this as a first minute kill, which probably you should at this point if you are the disguise and the breacher, then that's a really funky room, and just in general the mansion is really weird for sound travel. The breacher would be heard from the closed door or through the closed door, so we see how Ducker approaches this one.
Yeah, good point, actually, yeah, and I'm curious to see how they do deal with their disguises, because if they don't do that Rico kill straight away, which I hope they do, it's going to be a bit annoying to just focus on coming back here to do that. So I'm sure we'll see it from Docker. Not quite sure with Phanium though, because he might get it later, as he doesn't want to miss that Andrea cycle around 2:30.
Yeah, Dakar can do plenty of preparation here still, and this might be the best time to get that Rico kill. He's still not dead, but he can still be dragged in this room. Just gotta watch out for the breacher sound. It's more loud than it looks, or it seems.
Yeah, good point. And sometimes that can really bite you if you don't remember little things like that. And it looks like Ducker is going to go for the kill. I hope he has the disguise.
There's the picture, and there's the question mark. So something has to be dropped. That's sadly I'm losing all the pixels, and that will be a last second bump. He doesn't drop an item for him. Tries to bump him from behind, so that will be a restart there, and the second world record just became a bit more elusive at this time.
Yeah, unfortunate for Ducker. And yeah, it seems like Ducker's stream is acting kind of bad bitrate on all sources, not just for yourself. So hopefully that gets resolved by Twitch soon enough. I'm sure it's on their end.
That is out of respect for Phanium, who has never played over 360p.
True, yeah. Phanium is kind of notorious for his bitrate and his skill, but more so the bitrate, of course.
Both, actually, yeah, that's a good point. So after I would say it starts with one extra step. It wouldn't be too much worse for Phanium, but he will have to get Dimension Staff Disguise. Just not too difficult, of course, from after you get Dimension Guard. Phanium doesn't obviously you don't have to set up Andrea, just do chaos there, and his next stop is the submarine engineer. We'll want to turn the guard away.
Oh, and uses a triple shot to get him over. That's a bit scary, but of course if you know what you're doing, it's not that bad. And yeah, he gets close enough to the guard before he can compromise him for it.
I wonder if he wanted to use another door there. It's a head turn, which I don't like to juggle with, but Phanium gets his first try and now has the second disguise, or the kill for, or disguise for the second kill. Just needs a kitchen knife and might as well get the scissors while he's around.
Yeah, I do hope we see Phanium get this kill. I'm curious if he's going to go for the chef that's in town. It's a bit tougher to get, and you usually would want to use a snail or some item lure to bring him out, but I don't know if he's going to grab it when he's here.
As far as yeah. So both the kitchen knife and the chef disguise, by the way, for Andrea, can be considered the same room, and I think this is on the minimap, which we can see just behind Phanium with the two NPCs. One who's cycling, the lady, I guess the chef lady, and the chef itself. The snail would be appropriate here, but decides against it and will just go for Jorge completely. And just, I would assume that Phanium is just going to get mention stuff, pop the breacher, and then going to get a chef from nearby. That's also an appropriate measure.
Yeah, seems like Phanium is going to go for the easier chef. Only needs an item to get. Definitely makes sense, and I can't help but laugh every time I try to recall where a kitchen knife is. It's more likely that it's in a dartboard than it is on the kitchen counter. The logic in this game is absolutely beautiful.
Just the magic of being on a carton map, or all these thugs just wants to use it inappropriately.
True, yeah. I'm sure we'll find all. If we ever had darts in the game, I'm sure they'd be on the kitchen counter.
Sounds about right. Ducker, after the restart at 1.5 minutes, thanks to the old gen loading, it's more like a 2-minute disadvantage now, and we'll now get Andrea, and I wonder if he can cut some corners around here in the village. We will see if he gets the chef or the kitchen knife.
Yeah, and Phanium, again, going for a triple shot. Like he's seeing some Sasso routes to get those guards to just run towards him. He's really playing with fire, but he knows what he's doing. So I really admire the confidence he has right now to speed this up. And he's going to try to get that Jorge kill pretty soon. And he has a really nice cycle for Jorge now.
In the
So
tall
well planned.
bushes. Yep. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, well planned from Phanium. I think he actually sped up because of that and maybe didn't want to risk the Jorge cycle. I feel like he had some knowledge as to when he wanted to get there, and I think Phanium did a good play by doing that. No waiting from him, so really nice.
Yeah, the perfect placement from the tall bushes and the perfect timing for Jorge. He was stopping there, and we will see at 5:39 the first kill of his side, not the first kill of the match, because Tucker has Rico down, but a definite lead for Phanium there. Ducker gets into combat, however, through the door. It was seen, through the open door, obviously. It was seen by the 3 soldiers outside.
Super unfortunate there from Phanium. Those guards are actual roamers as well. I think they just walk up and down that kind of footpath from the bar up, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that was just extremely unlucky timing, I think.
It's a long cycle for sure, yeah. And now it is Phanium's to lose with 1 kill down, a second one set up, and can get the remaining items from the basement of the mansion. Doesn't have the agency pickup here, but picks up a shovel, which will be good for chaos. We've seen that he has run out of melee items at the end of Paris. He wants a crowbar here, cannot go through the door otherwise. That will set him back a bit.
Yeah, bit of an annoying door. He'd probably be better off grabbing the key, but of course there's a bit of risk to the key as well. So again, it's just risk evaluation from Phanium, and although he's doing triple shot panics to get past people, he's still playing safe at the same time. So
it's a great distinction.
Quite sure.
Yeah, it's a great distinction for Phanium is that when it was planned, the triple shot at the beginning of entering the Coca fields was obviously practiced and well calculated, but now once things are changing a little and wants to improvise, he will go safe there. As you can see, some 2 medium-sized bushes there, and now he's in the bushes. Nice close words.
Yeah.
We'll get past these 2 mentioned guards, and I think that's another restart for Ducker. Might have been a question mark again. What seemed really like the simpler and more solid strat in mentioned stuff start, just the breaching charge completely ruins it so far for Ducker.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's one of those things. I'm sure Ducker is really acquainted with that strat, but maybe Breacher just happened to be like something that got overlooked, and those paper tin walls with the audio kind of just weren't something he was aware of, and now he's kind of facing the consequences of that.
Oh, hold on, actually the second restart was not because of the sound, it was the Breacher not killing. Obviously it's a very tiny range, but I suppose it didn't give Rico enough damage. It's really unfortunate for Ducker. Luckily it doesn't change the course of this spin so far. He's gaining the loading times, but Phanium is just so much ahead and so close to finishing now.
Yeah, exactly, and it's worth noting that Phanium has every target isolated. It's just the sky's grabbing now. I even think he has, if he doesn't have the scissors, they're very close to Andrea. It's probably just a chef now that's left for Phanium, and it's just a bit of walking. So should expect 2 minutes away from finishing, unless something majorly goes wrong for him.
Yeah, he still doesn't want to get the mansion staff. He'll just make his way from bottom to top, Just want to check that Ducker does get the first kill again with the breaching charge, and he can now go to the village again, and Phanium will get the chef for that Andrea kill, but of course still needs the mansion stuff from here, and why wouldn't you get it in the mansion and just pop the preacher while you're there?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we see him do it. I'm still surprised he didn't go for that. I think Phanium had a breacher for the Rico kill, if I'm not mistaken, or some sort of a silent explosive.
I'm fairly sure that he did set up before. There's the detonator in hand, so
yeah,
should be on the bridge already. But now gets the mansion stuff.
Yeah.
The male isolated. The female is now coming out. While this guy is still being changed. That was kind of close there.
Yeah, I'm sure Phanium's heart skipped a beat there. And there's the kill as well onto Riku we were just on about. Now just one kill left, so just a bit of walking. No targets to isolate, just kind of run over. And of course, not much trespassing except that little hop from the wall to the window for Andrea is all that's left.
Yeah, just wanting to dodge those cameras so that those green guns never turn yellow. It's some bit of extra work if you get yellow there, but Phanium doesn't want to risk it, as some more buffering turning into an actual error here. But he's back and on the bridge, and 10:25 for me, so it's a sub 12 very likely. Just needs to get the scissors, as you said. It's very close to the cartel compound and not too much trespassing remaining.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing I want Phanium just to keep an eye out for is when he hops that wall, not to go left, because we see that time and time again, that they accidentally walk into a camera, but I'm sure these players are well aware of that by now, and it seems like Phanium's stream is really chugging today.
Yeah, it seems like this might turn into offline, but hopefully we'll get some confirmation of the last kill. Yeah, I'm stopping at 10:37 sadly, and by this point he's about to get the third kill, so hopefully we don't miss that even with a delay.
Oh, and he is offline after that kind of buffering over and over.
That will be very unfortunate if we happen to see the finish sign there and we are left to assume what went down there. Ducker, meanwhile, the one player we can see, got the chef disguise. We'll get the kitchen knife as well, and we'll cut down a lot from his spin. Hopefully, oh, he can go to Andrea now. Just need to change the kitchen knife to the scissors.
Yeah, exactly. Should be a pretty easy kill. Nobody should hear this frontal KO if Andrea is facing up, so he should be pretty safe. Oh, and Phanium really... stream still isn't up. Hopefully he's aware. We haven't seen a finish yet, but I would expect it in the next 20-30 seconds if it was to be as linear as it looked.
Yeah, and now it's getting concerning there. If Phanium starts typing, we will... Yeah, he says he's got to be kidding, or the internet is got to be kidding to him. And the rest will be left to the admin, because we did not see the last kill. We do have an offline player who has completed 90% of the spin, but went offline for the last 10, which included one of the 3 kills.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, until that gets sorted by the admins, as to whether that kill will be okay, the scissors one, Chef for Andrea. We'll stick with Ducker, see how he goes until it's resolved. And he finally got past the kind of hurdle he was stuck on. I think it was that Roman guard we were on about with the Trank when he was getting Chef that caught him last time. But this IGT is, yeah, immaculate from Ducker at the rate he's going. We probably would have seen a record if Ducker had gotten this in his first attempt.
Yeah, this was the underlying thought process of chat. I think us included to some extent when we saw the first spin and started to think, how can this be under the current world record time? It would include, of course, the first try, and around this strategy, which would include the Rico setup and all the other kills taken care of in the village. Now Ducker has only one Jorge isolation to go, which at the 6-minute mark can probably be a Shed, Peekaboo, or hopefully a Seeker early on his route.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious. What is the idea here for Ducker? Does he not have a kitchen knife? No, he does have a kitchen knife.
Ducker does have it. I think he's just most confident about this route. If he goes through this room.
Wow, this is very confident is the PG word for what I wanted to say with, but
good choice of word.
I suppose you get to that side of the field you want to get to quicker, so it saves it does actually it makes the first half difficult, the second half easier. If you go through the gate, getting through the gate is obviously easy, but getting past all those guards can be a bit annoying, so probably did even out for Ducker, now that I think about it.
Yeah, especially the last part of his route, basically taking the straight line between the mentioned staff area and basically the cocoa fields is where he really cut some corners, but 7:15 now on the clock, and I think Jorge is on the wrong part of his route as far as toilets go. He will be closer to the mansion than the piranhas.
If he did just smuggle his Seeker, I would love to see him use the Seeker on somebody else to occupy that toilet and then make Jorge go to the other one, because that would be really nice use of it right now, since Ducker didn't actually need Seeker. Yeah, no, Ducker did Red Fox, so unless he brought Trank, he only needs one dart, so he probably can't do that. Phanium would have had a chance, but
Phanium did Red Fox. Ducker has just picked up the Seeker, and that's definitely from the cocoa field. He does have two Seeker shots, but he just really wants to make this one happen, I think.
Yeah. My brain just wanted to assume that Red Fox was faster. But
the propaganda.
Seems like Phanium might be able to resolve his issue. Like we said, he's currently trying to resolve it with admins, but should be okay.
Don't want to stir anything, but it's a very good last message from the admin chat. What would happen to a photo finish here? Well, I mean, we can, I think, just consider that Phanium did press finish minutes ago, but his internet doesn't allow it. But I don't want to assume or predict anything. I'm just happy to be a caster for this one. Poor Chris, though, after his legendary match that he admined yesterday, which might not be the best word from the admin side, he did have to calculate 3 consecutive photo finishes, and the admin team was helping him along the way because how close those photo finishes were. Let's hope for a smoother match this time.
Historical match in terms of photo finishes. 0.81 seconds of a lead out of a photo finish is absolutely mind-blowing. And I won't even say the score. Just watch it if you haven't, because honestly it was mind-boggling. I was rocking back and forth in my chair every single time.
It was a long thriller, even though half of it was basically no gameplay going on. But that's for the other bracket, and we won't spoil the result, obviously. Ducker is close to finishing, but Phanium did press finish, and I think this is being resolved now, and we will see what happens there. I think we can just call Ducker's gameplay as long as it happens, and then we'll see if the score changes or what happens there.
Oh, did we get a frontal KO somehow? No, we didn't. Just some weird investigation from a cocoa field worker there. I don't know if you caught that. Went over to the river for some strange reason.
I want to say that he started with a distraction before that, at the very beginning of the action, and wanted to turn around the cocoa field guards who were just homing on Jorge anyway, and the just cocoa field worker went for it. I'm not exactly sure, but that's the Ducker finish who wins the in-game time battle. Phanium obviously supposedly finishing a good 5 minutes ago, and we will await the admin call. I think whatever comes out of our matchups channel will be official, and just we'll leave Chris and the admins to sort out the rest.
Yeah, exactly. Seems like Ducker was made aware of the win back when it actually did happen, it seems, around 9:04 my time. But does look like Docker did try to continue the spin and pressed finish when he finished, so maybe that ping didn't alert him that the spin was over as it was still live. So hopefully it's all gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, always difficult cases to resolve, and I suppose it's even worse this late in the tournament. It's now the second day with something newish. I'm not saying it never happened before. I want to say that I do remember watching an instant replay clip from someone a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And I think that was the resolution there, but it's very hard for us because not even the admin channel has a clip there which we could show or show to everyone.
Yeah, it looks like Phanium will be able to get the clip uploaded. Tucker is made aware of the issue as well, so should be pretty good. And yeah, it's definitely a first time for everything. I know, like you said, you had an instant replay from a contender before, but yeah, it's nice that they at least have some sort of backup, because it would feel bittersweet to take that Santa Fortuna away from Phanium.
Yeah, he did win, and I suppose this is the great time to bring up that stat. If this were Phanium win, let's just consider the one map from this match so far. Phanium started with a 0-4 sweep by Joker J in the winner's bracket, and after that he won 4 matches, and there was one more forfeit win, but the 4 matches contained no map losses, and that was 11 straight map wins in a row. This is number 12. Santa Fortuna maybe number 13. We don't check the stats for longest map win streaks, but this has got to be up there as one of the most impressive already.
Yeah, for sure. That's supremely impressive. If he's on 13 wins, just mind-blowing. Especially this late in the tournament.
Yep, and those included TK47 and Toby Norton in the last round, so no slouches obviously, and 4 names there which I didn't have written down, but it's really hard to be that consistent, and he was obviously consistent in the majority of the Santa Fortuna spin, and he most likely finished the job there, but we still have to wait the official confirmation.
Yeah, we hate to be advocate for the rules, but we have to. Yeah, seems like they're slowly getting there. Yeah, definitely worth noting, as I saw a couple of people mentioning, Ducker had a very nice in-game time lead there. I think it was a minute and a bit over Phanium with that strat, starting with Mansion Staff. So definitely nice to see a different strat actually work out and work for Ducker. I'm curious if Phanium would have gained much IGT if he had gotten that chef kill straight away before going for Jorge. So he did double back the map, and that cost a bit of time.
In the RN chat, there is some conversation about whether the Red Fox strat would have been the ideal one here, because Ducker has really shown that Mansion Staff did seem the way to go. Of course, the explosive weapon did troll him sadly a lot. But let's see if we can get some information from others, because personally I would just try to consider obviously Red Fox for Rico, Breacher as the pillow, and the Andrea kill. You probably wouldn't want to risk getting the chef quick enough, but with some backhand first you get the chef, the scissors, and the kitchen knife. And then...
Yeah. So tough to say. There's so many little things in it. Like you said, the chef and the bad timing. The way I look at it is both are kind of the same idea in essence. It's just the only difference is you have Mansion Staff when you get Rico. And if you were quick enough, you could get Andrea first cycle. So I do feel like Andrea is the limiter. So if you catch her coming into the office first cycle, and then you just go straight to Jorge and finish the kill, it's going to be pretty similar. So it's really down to the beginning, I think, if you were running it like a daily spin or something. But of course, we can never expect that from either player on a Roulette Rivals match when you're live in front of however many people.
Yeah, it's fun to speculate, but at the end of the day, it would have been really hard for someone to get a first try that is much quicker than Ducker's time. So suppose in the end our cries for Randy's world record to end here was in vain, and We don't even know how long it took for the winner, but we see, of course, the 9:55 from Ducker after, I want to say, 20 minutes of real time, and Phanium finishing after 14 or so with the first try 12-minute run. But yeah, Santa Fortuna is one of those maps, but this is one of those situations where we do have to wait a little.
Seems like we missed it. Phanium did have to go live just for a moment to verify something for admins. But looks like he did show a quick clip of the recording of that spin after it dipped out from the Twitch issue. I might just give it a quick inspection as well for the sake of the people waiting in chat.
I am trying my hardest to interact with this, but the links don't work in OBS. I really do want to make this happen and show that clip, because that's as much you can do. Yeah,
seems like he had connection issues, so there's actually all he was able to show was the ending screen, but it didn't actually show any ratings because of the fact the connection dropped. So it's just a bit of text. So yeah, that's going to be a tough decision for admins right now. It's completely up to whatever the rules are and what their discretion is. So I definitely buckle in for a minute because it's not an easy decision. Because there's no winners with this decision.
I'll risk everything by breaking this page, but I will try to accept some cookies. Oh, there we can see it's a 17-second clip, which I can full screen here, and there is the finish, and unless Osh says that he showed a kill with green guns to Chris, so that could be a different clip there, but we can see this 17-second replay that doesn't show neither the kill nor the green guns. And that is the only other clip we have.
And yeah, good point as well there. There is a bit of delay, mainly because of the fact Phanium is having trouble getting back online on a device that isn't his phone.
Yeah.
So we'll have to hope he gets it sorted.
Yes, regardless, we would have the delay until Phanium's internet is coming back, and obviously that we hope that it's not a long time, because otherwise rescheduling will become an issue.
Oh, and there we go. Phanium is actually back up as we say it.
It is time for me to pop back this generic link and just change the Phanium YouTube link there, and by the time I finish, he will have 4-0 lead.
And what better map to finish a match point than Dartmoor, huh? My god.
Yep, after all this, everyone waiting for that confirmation, we might still have the game ending in 5 minutes, including the delay between spins. But not sure if we will see the stats in time. Not sure if we will see Phanium's 5 wins and 2 losses. But those are fairly interesting because his only 2 losses came the one against Joker in the winner's bracket this tournament, but the other from RR4, it is a Ducker. So they have played this map twice and either players won it once. So despite Phanium being really sharp, and the newer the generation, the more we associate with the quicker maps, I would say that both have still the chance here, and Ducker really wants to stay alive, obviously.
Yeah, this is anybody's map. It really is, and it just comes down to quick plan, knowing what you want to do. Even if it's not the fastest, it's only going to vary usually by like 10-15 seconds. So just get in there as quick as you can, get it over with. You see that time and time again. But yeah, there's so many quick spins ever since that secondary objective has been removed, and you usually see most spins ending in sub 3 unless it's some consumed poison. Even then, I think consumed poison is sub 3.
What is the consumed poison timing? I want to say it's 2:35, so it would make even sub 3 real time. It's a good point there. But even that kill has its own challenges. albeit not too hard. The fact that you have to make sure you don't trigger any proxy conversation with her, or she will come down to investigate the PI who's arriving.
Yeah, good point. Definitely a couple of little things to keep out for, but yeah, besides that, there's obviously some really quick ones, some new ones that might startle them for a moment, like maybe some fire Undertaker or something might give them a little bit of a scare for a moment, as they might not be sure where Alexa's going to be, or if their opponent is going to just throw the Molotov, or if there's some crazy thing up their sleeve. So a bit of improv if they want to try it.
Yeah, probably if you want to see improv, then fire would be the kill to hope for. It's just really hard to say what Ducker can be hoping for here. He has his win here against Phanium, so it's not like this is far from over, but this is a really tough map to turn the match around on, with the momentum going Phanium's way, and this is such a quick map that you barely have time to think, and if you do start to think, then you might lose just based on the fact that you spent too long loading.
Yeah, exactly. And we had that notorious match with the photo finishes yesterday, and in a photo finish, because our players were so agonizingly close again. And I think we had a bit of difference in loading time or planning, but the other player caught up, so you need every second you can get out of this map because a photo finish is so likely.
Yeah, we had three photo finishes, won't spoil the match result of course, but actually Dartmoor was the one that was the most conclusive, I believe, because the other two was nearing the tie threshold of 2 seconds, and this one only took, obviously there's 2 first tries, but this one only took 5 minutes to resolve.
Yeah.
Hoping for some conclusive result here. If you want to see the match going, you want to hope for a Ducker win here, or a photo finish tie, but please observe for the potentially final map of this match. What do we have here?
Oh my god, that's Private Investigator Falling Object. That's actually, before Molotov, that is the SA record spin. Starting Private Investigator, you shoot that chandelier straight away. That is literally, if I had to buy a lottery ticket for a spin that I'd want for Dartmoor, this is exactly the lottery ticket I would buy.
Phanium knows. Sorry.
You can get out of here in 1 minute, and I think these players might be aware of that, and it's probably the best chance at beating a record you could ever have.
1 minute and 38 seconds, the quickest ever roulette spin time, and Phanium is trying to get the angle with the PI. Ducker loading in a bit longer, it just makes him a bit less likely to get the world record, but Phanium is looking for the 20-second timing on Alexa. There's the 20 seconds and there's the kill. 2 more tokens to go for Phanium to win this one. If Ducker can do the same, then of course we will have a really ugly photo finish again.
Yeah, and the record, although it was similar to Phanium, you could go upstairs if you timed it right with that kill on Alexa, because I'll be a bit shocked, but getting tokens is okay. Oh, that's a missed trank for Phanium.
It's really big for him because he doesn't have any tranks remaining. Can he get Rebecca without a dart? And Ducker is not going for the SA's chat, but he can still do hallway isolation, and with the silence pistol he will get a quick kill. Still have to close the doors there, and won't have a minute kill there, but he can clutch it up. But Phanium with the KOs, 1 minute and 2 seconds in, has both objectives down, and it is 1 minute and 35, 36, 37 seconds is when he sees the finish from Phanium. That will be the new world record for Dartmoor.
By 1 second, is it?
I'm fairly sure it was by 1 second. It was at 45:23 when the finish happened.
Yeah, wow. So we did get a record. I did not expect Phanium to squeeze that out with the missed trank and going downstairs, but it did work out. Wow, what a way to finish it.
And this one is not something that Tucker can come back behind from. We have seen the loading difference there, but we see the in-game time difference. And the score is there before there's the finish. Ducker will just exit with red gun, not even gonna exit. And there's the 6-0 Phanium win.
Wow. What a way to finish. And Phanium's stream is holding its breath every time as well. It's like holding its breath for 5 seconds, goes offline. But yeah, we got what we needed from him. So Yeah, what a Darmore. I hope we get confirmation that that was a new record. But I do think it was, according to that finish we saw on stream. And yeah,
Yeah,
super sad for Ducker as well. Phanium continuing his streak, and there's not much you can do against a player like Phanium with an insane streak. I think we're up to 14, 15 now.
this is 14, and
Wow.
one more match to go for the final. Obviously, he wouldn't mind to drop some maps, and it will be against Joker J, the man who eliminated him from winner's bracket. Let's see if I can show the console now. Oops, that's...
Oh, and if I'm not mistaken, that could be one of our first matches ever where two records were set in the single match.
Yeah, in the course of just 3 spins, we have had the extraordinary Santa Fortuna, but at least it wouldn't have been a record regardless. But pending confirmation, and that will have to require checking back the VOD and seeing what the timer was when the finish sign started to move. We might see 2 narrow photo finishes, well, one by the narrowest of margins and a very decent pairs as well. Here we can see that the loser's bracket final is now set, and it will be Joker J rematching against Phanium for the spot in the RR9 final, with the buff guy waiting up there in his second grand final. And Joker J is also hoping to make his second one, and Phanium with 2 past finals, hoping to make it number 3 and title number 2 on Sunday.
Yeah, and gotta say as well, how nice to see Joker and Phanium. I think our previous finalists for the last RR8, they also met up at the beginning of this tournament, Phanium v Joker, and Joker actually bet Phanium. And after all those games and all those days that have passed, it all came down to the two of them fighting each other again, just to get a shot to beat Buff Guy. So it's somewhat beautiful the way it all comes back around. Bit of revenge, bit of cycling backwards and forward, and what a rivalry between them.
Talk about an unlucky round 2 matchup, but Phanium did get the most out of his lower bracket run, and if I'm not mistaken, then this was the exact circumstances how he got down to the loser bracket in RR8, and it was a round 1 or first round match, which might have been round 2 against Crudy. He got swept by him. I'm not so sure about that score, but after that he went on a rampage and won all his match in the lower bracket and won the final from that. So I think this is a spot with which he is really familiar with. Not sure if he really minded the loss in the first place, but now they are back, and this is going to be another match that is impossible to call, and for the final.
Yeah, exactly. Just whoever has their Weetabix in the morning, their nice cereal, is really who's going to play better that day, honestly. And I really couldn't even put a prediction on who I think is going to take it out of the 3 players we have left now. They're all so amazing. But yeah, I cannot wait.
Yep, and this is obviously unscheduled for now. They have until the end of Friday to schedule. It might be tomorrow. It is likely to be on Friday, as is tradition. So for now, we have Zerum versus Blythe, which is the lower bracket semi-final, as in the round before the final. It is a Thursday 4 o'clock match, casted by Throat unofficially, as was claimed in the Shoutcaster chat, and that will be followed by one more PC bracket, loser bracket final match between the winner of this match and myself. And that's one you can see, 2 that you will see, and that is all you got until Sunday, until Sunday's 2 grand final matches.
Yeah, a lot of good ones coming up, so definitely keep an eye out on Hitmaps if you want to see what ones are coming up, because I think we have probably 5-6 left max matches on both brackets, so each one of them is going to be the greats versus the greats, so keep an eye out for sure.
5 including the finals, so there's not a lot of spins to go, not a lot of maps or photo finishes to count to get the most out of those while you can. It will be a very exciting last 4 days of the tournament, if I'm counting correctly. And yeah, lots of storylines still going on. Won't really go into them. I won't go back to the brackets now, but I think the casters will get you through those ones as the matches happen. Just great watch, as we all hope for, obviously. But this is as long as we can stretch out a 6, so very unfortunate for Ducker, but very dominant performance by Phanium, including the 2 unconfirmed world records, and he will be live to fight another day against the RR8 runner-up. So I would like to thank once again Chris X3 for adminning this one and congratulating him on no photo finishes, but still a very tough match to admin. And I would like to say, well, first, yeah, I do want to ask, what did you think about the match first, and then I'll thank you separately.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the way I look at it, you can't be too disappointed losing to a player who's on a 14-map winning streak against some of the greatest players in the bracket. So, like, there's nothing great in that. Sometimes you're just on a tear and you gotta leave them do their thing. You can't win everyone, and Phanium is just, he's a cheat code, as the chat was saying. Lower bracket Phanium is a cheat code for sure, and I'm really curious to see if anybody can stop him. But anybody that happened to fall in his his path, feel sorry for it, because he's clearly here for the crown this time round, and I do wish him the best, and to Joker and Buff as well. But aside to that, Docker played amazing, and it just wasn't enough against Phanium today.
Yeah, not today, but he's still the 6-time console bracket winner, the most successful player in RR history. This time he will gain a 4th place, but that's still a very, very impressive tally of results. Of course, we will see him back in the World Championship as one of the favorites, but so will be Docker and the remaining players in the console bracket. But yeah, just want to say once more that thank you, Observer, for joining me on this co-cast.
Yeah, no worries at all, and fun. Thank you for having me as always, and I'd also like to thank Chris for the admin as well, as always, and congrats to both players for playing amazingly.
You can now just see the next match and 4 more after that, so see you tomorrow at 4 PM for Zerum versus Blythe. Thank you everyone for watching, and see you for the final matches. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.